This little red light needs to be on. If the red light's not on, it's not being recorded. So there are times when I will pause the recording because I want to show you a video of somebody else, something I've seen on the internet, or something that I want to give you an example of, or I need to badmouth another teacher. I don't want a record of it. So I'll pause it, then I need to make sure I turn it back on when it's time to go back. Otherwise, YouTube would block somebody else's content. Okay, I've had that happen before. So just, it'll happen. This class is going to take you to strange places you've never been. The mind of an elementary school student. How do you explain something? This class is one of the hardest ones that I've ever taught. This class, and when I first came to the community college level, I left Buchanan High School. I was teaching Buchanan High School, and I was teaching AP Calculus, AP, ABC, Modern Advanced Math. I had all the nerds. And they were all smarter than me, but it was difficult material, but it wasn't hard to teach. They would cry if they got a B on a test, but hey, that's just what it was. When I came to community college, I was teaching some arithmetic class. Now, that was much harder to teach than calculus was. And one of the reasons why is because when you take something for granted, when you just know how to do something, you don't think about it. You just know how to do it. What do you mean you don't understand how to do blank? And then you got to think about it. Wait a second, that's my job. I got to figure out how to help them learn how to do this. My job is to break it down and figure out a way to get them, to bring them to the right conclusion. They may not learn the same way I did. Might find a different way. That's what teaching is all about. Not everybody's coming from the same place. That's one of the reasons why this class is now in place. This support class, the Math 310BL, is now in place before the Math 10B. Okay, a support class, because not everybody going into 10B, we're going in with the same amount of information to do the level of mathematics necessary to do the 10B material. Same thing with 10A. It's not coming in with the same amount of knowledge. So we're here to kind of, we're using the word backfill. Or sorry, that's the wrong term. Front load what we're going to do at noon here at 11 o'clock. Today at noon, we're going to cover these kinds of math topics. Let's make sure we've covered what the definitions are. So when I start talking about it, you know what I'm talking about. Those kinds of ideas. Okay. And I know it's like an extra 50 minutes, but it's going to be on days of tests. This is your review time. So I won't be able to take class time of reviewing. We'll be able to cover more material in the 10B class itself. But in here, we'll be able to go over homework questions, test questions, and things like that, and use it to progress the file. When I was a college student, one of the things that went with taking calculus, I was at UCLA, I planned on being an aerospace engineer, is you would take calculus class, but there was a built-in student section where you went in and you turned in homework, and you had a graduate student who was your teaching assistant for the class of 450 calculus students that were in the lecture hall. So there's one professor, and the professor, all they did was lecture on stuff. Then the teaching assistants, they broke it up into little classrooms with 50 students each. And that had one teaching assistant, and the teaching assistant had two other assistants where they would collect the homework at a tutor, and somebody would grade all the homework. Like, shoot. Now that funding's probably all running. Okay. That's the wrong one. That's what. That's what I need. Okay. I'm only teaching 3 classes, but I had to do 6 syllabi. The every class of work. Okay, so 310 BL. So we have 111050. That phone number is useless because I'm never in the office. So definitely find me is in here or email. Now I'm going to send you the YouTube link. I do I email the entire class through Canvas. Please just don't hit reply all to Canvas. I don't want to accidentally hit a reply all with your email and me something personal, an absence or something that looks like grade. I don't want to do that accidentally. So email me from your student account to my Outlook account. Okay. When you do email type recording, but I'm going to email the YouTube and any other information. If you miss some paperwork, if you miss a type handout, I'll do that from Canada. But that email is how you get a hold of it. The office hours are every day, Monday through Friday at 7:30 to 8:20. I know that it's like, not in your wheelhouse, but I do have one office hour right after this class. But then again, you basically kind of have an office hour every day right before this class. It's not an office hour. There are things that we will have planned to do, but it is also a place where we have access to questions. Okay. And when you do email me, please, what is your name? Because I can't always tell who's emailing me just because of their email address, what class you're in. We'll cover dates when we do the Math 10B. This is a different story. Non-credit support class for students concurrently enrolled in Math 10B, Mathematics for Elementary School Teachers, Part 2. This course will offer just-in-time remediation, and the topics will vary depending on students' needs, but may include expressions, evaluable formulas, unit conversion, angles, polygons, geometric figures, and more. So we do a lot of geometry, do some probability, and unit conversion, metric, English standard unit. Objectives. Describe and interpret basic probability events. What's probability? What probability? Yeah. Describe that word to something. the more likely something is to happen. Like, what's the probability of flipping a coin and getting tails? 50%. 1 out of 2. There's two possible things that might happen, heads or tails. And so tails is one of those possibilities out of the two choices. So the probability of tails is 1 half. And then you get into, what if I flip it 2 times? What if I flip it 3 times? What's the probability of getting 3 tails in a row? 2 tails and a head, 2 heads and a tail, 3 heads. Okay? Why do casinos make money? But how do they win? Why would I want to run a casino? What would be the first thing I would need to know? The probability. The probabilities need to be in my favor. The odds need to be in your favor, just like Cadmus and what's his face. Okay. Am I using references of a tool? Cadmus, if I use Luke Skywalker, is that too far away? That's one. But if I use like a slot and print, because they're better than Luke Skywalker when it comes to them. Star Trek's always best. I'm in charge up here. It's on the test. You know, you do greater than, less than, Trek, Star Wars. Trek is greater. I used to teach with somebody at the Canada High School. Who was a math teacher? 49ers. If the 49ers won, no homework on a Monday. But if they lost, he would double down on the homework first week. Just the way things were in this time. No. Classify data categories. So statistics, gathering data. Describe reflections, translations, rotations, and blind reflections of the plane. So graphing. Coordinate systems. Classify polyhedra. So is that a cone? Is it a prism? Is it a cube? Is it a sphere? Those kind of things. Describe area models. Area, surface area. Use conversion factors for metric and US unit calculations. Describe lines and measure angles. The door's right there. You're going to be fine. Because that's what this class is for, is to help you be prepared to do that at noon. You will not receive a letter grade in this class. It's pass or pass over. There's no homework. There's no quizzes. There's no tests. Passing this class rests solely on the completion of daily in-class assignments, worksheet, and participation. If I give an assignment in this class, something that we do when we hand in, okay, then if you're absent, you come back to class, this is what we did, give it to me the next time you come in. If we do. Otherwise, just being here is participation. You can't participate if you're not here. Every time you're here is 10 points. If you're not here, you don't get the point. Now, if you're not here, it's all about communication. All you have to do is email me. You don't have to email me before, just by the end of that day. Sorry, I was absent this week today. And that's fine. Sorry, I missed this morning. You need to say sorry. So I just need to know that you are communicating. Then I'm not going to count it against you. That's it. Please, I don't want to know why. There's no such thing as excused absences at the college level. I don't want a doctor's note. I'd rather not know what's going on with your doctor. Okay. I always struggle when somebody tells me about, illnesses and deaths and pet and families, because I kind of left with going, well, what to say? Fail if I don't reply back to them, then I don't look like a jerk. But I don't know what to say. So I'd rather not know. So I'm not going to reply to them when you're absent. I'm just going to keep track of it. And here's what's going to happen. 18 days of the semester. We meet 18 times. Sorry, I take that back. I gave you the wrong answer last month. We meet twice a week for 18 weeks. So that's 36. Okay? Except Thanksgiving. Just 35. That's 350 points. Okay? So the max you would get is 350 out of 350. Well, let's say you're absent 5 times. And you emailed me every single one of those 5 times. So, no problem. You're not going to lose any points. So they're not going to count against you. You would just have a 300 out of 300, and somebody who's here every single time and never missed would have 350 out of 350. But yours would be 300 out of 300 because you communicate. That's all. When you don't communicate, that's when the score goes down. I've had people fail the support plan because they don't communicate. Okay. Attendance is mandatory for success. After 6 missed classes, you're going to be dropped from the class. And again, that's if you don't communicate. Academic dishonesty was kind of hard to, have that volunteer lab. There's no grades in class. But please, out of respect, make sure everything's turned off. I don't mind if we need to step out, take care of a phone call, or see. Look, I've been talking over there. The camera's not over there. It's over here. My wife's calling me over here. Okay. Not that you're not reading in front of you, but I don't know how that is. Anyway, cell phones are turned off. What bothers me is when you're on your phone all the time, and it's like, all right, if you have that something going on that needs that much attention, go outside, take care of it. Otherwise, if it's something quick, just take care of it quickly and then put it away. If it goes off, and the next slide goes off during a test or something, we'll be able to come. If you have a verified need for an academic accommodation or materials in alternate media, braille, large print, electronic text, etc., per the American Disabilities Act or Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act, let me know as soon as possible. Usually the DSDNS office will already have contacted me. So I'll let you know if they have or not. I'll let you know when they do. So if you don't get anything from me, it's because I haven't heard anything from them. So I'll try to take care of that by the end of the week. Any questions? Here's what's going to happen. We're going to call the support done, and we're going to come back at noon and do the 10B. And just because there's so much room, if you know anybody out there that needs 10B, you have to have had 10A to do 10B. I have room in 10A as well. But if you know anybody out there that needs that, was thinking about it, let them know. Tell them to come see me. The 10A is right before this one. Plenty of room. You're more than merry. Okay? So let's come on back at noon.